Peace, peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? How y'all feeling out there? Hope you feeling well. Haven't had a real talk in a while. I haven't jumped on the media thing in a while. Was wondering if there was any new updates to talk about, like. And guess what? Whatever new updates or upgrades that are happening still doesn't take anything away from the overall sentiment of what's going on. Crypto in general, and especially in the shanty town. In the shanty town called Pulse Chain. Shout out to everybody if you're celebrating holidays, you know. Shout out to you if you're going through a struggle. When I say shout out, I don't mean in a way where it's celebratory. We're not praising the struggle in a sense where, I'm clapping for your misfortune. No, not at all. I'm actually rooting for you to endure and persevere and push through whatever hardship you may or may not encounter. Shout out to you if you are just looking to revamp, reassess, reevaluate certain things going on in your life. And if you're not, if you're good with how things are and how things are going, it's a blessing. I've been for the last 2 years, I've been streaming for the most part about this crypto stuff. And sometimes, especially this year, I was really motivated to just change it up all the way, like because of certain events and certain things that are taking place in the market and in this chain and from your founder. And I found myself coming back to the same theme of like, wait a minute, what's going on over here? What's going on with your founder? Because too many examples, too many clear contradicting examples or contradictions, I should say, have arisen. And not just contradiction from some key opinion leader, influencer, whatever. No, from the founder himself. And so I said, I can't just pretend like I don't see what's going on and not talk about it, because then I'd be a problem in my in my eyes. I'd be a problem if I didn't speak up. I don't want to be an influencer who just turns a blind eye, right? Because I don't have any opinion either way. Maybe because I'm getting paid by somebody, right? To push a grifting narrative. I'm not one of those people. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I don't look for clout, right? I don't look to be a part of some clique. If I see craziness going on, I don't want to be a part of it. And I'm going to talk about it. Because of craziness that's taking place, can harm people, can hurt people. And I don't want to support that. So the last two Johns, I've been like, yo, this guy is off his rocker. Your founder, he out of his mind. You know, and he got a certain segment of believers who will just, if he tells them jump off the cliff, they would gladly jump off the cliff because they cannot and choose not to think for themselves and exercise better judgment. And it's unfortunate. In 3 weeks, we're going to be entering a new year. A new year. And like I said, I've been saying, because when you say, oh, it's now or never, even if something happens now, you'd be like, yo, is people think if everything was in the green, if prices were good, no one would be mad. Maybe that's true. But you could tell now, ain't nothing going on but the rent. You don't see or hear as you patiently wait for one person to pump the market because they own 95% of everything going on their blockchain. You could tell that's not happening this year as it winds to a close. And what would that mean in the grand scheme of things? It means this has been a miserable fail. If you went in to make money and you were doing what the quote unquote picking up good habits and doing the right strategies, or right, I say that in quote, buying dips or coins you think are supposed to be solid, that's supported and created by the founder, that the core coin, all this core this, core that, and you were buying the dips, right? You were averaging down, buying, right? Cost averaging down, bringing the average down. Every dip, it's been 2.5 years of dips. That's all it's been, nothing but a dip. Free fall entertainment. That's all it's been. And you come to hear a founder tell you sometimes you have to rotate. A founder telling you sometimes you have to pivot. On the 6th-year anniversary of his ERC20 that he launched 6 years ago, that boosted his reputation, where he, right, became so popular for the 10,000x narrative, basically built a community that basically gave him relevance. His 6-year anniversary passed or occurred for his coin, ERC20 coin, birthed on Ethereum first. Ethereum was solidified his crypto presence. Never mind you been in Bitcoin for however long. Nobody cares about that. People care more about how you launch something and it appears that the token went up in price 1,000,000%. That's what people care about. The 6-year anniversary for that token came and went. And what happened on the 6 year anniversary, the birthday, the birthday? What happened on the birthday? Did he light a candle? You know, that would have been a nice day to be clever with it, right? Get a little cupcake in his likeness, right? Some kind of cupcake in his likeness. Put a green candle. Oh no, but he probably too cheap to do that. Put a green candle on the 6 year anniversary cupcake. Light it and acknowledge on your timeline. Oh, but you don't do internet, right? You don't communicate on the internet. Acknowledge on the timeline that, oh yeah, listen, it's been 6 years, such and such growing. This is what we got going on. You don't even have kind words for your own efforts. It lets me know it's not about engendering goodwill, fellowship for the community, and making anything a better place. It's about making him fit in the best situation all the time over everything else. Because on the 6 year anniversary date, anniversary birthday, while you had some little janky streams taking place about people trying to celebrate and be happy and merry for the birthday, what was going on? Instead of talking about the token that gave him relevance, he talked about a new sacrifice that he launched on the birthday. Like, so it's a person who, 6 years later, you can't even publicly acknowledge that you still around, that this is going on, that everything is better. He likes to say how he does things better. 6 years couldn't break you down, nothing, no bragging, nothing on that level. SEC, you beat this and that. Hey, look at this, look what's going on. Been around 6 years because you don't care about the token thing anymore on Ethereum. That's how you also self-sabotage and destroyed morale by saying the market picked the Pulse Chain version of your coin versus the Ethereum. So you don't care about talking about anything Ethereum that birthed you and gave you relevance. You're going to talk about the new sacrifice you launched, because it's about rotating, it's about pivot, it's about new strategy, it's about new style of grift to get more money, as if you could publicly shame, denigrate, insult your very own community that gave you 1.6 billion dollars worth of crypto 4 years ago. You could publicly shame them. That's it. Like, this is what you could do. But when people ask him legitimate questions, it's block, censor, right? Trying to make folks feel as if they're not qualified to ask any question. Come on, man. It's the games this weirdo plays, because he moves like a weirdo to me. Behaves like a weirdo. Someone who's up to no good. If a no corner came on the scene and you explained to the no corner, you gave the no corner a brief, somewhat of an overview as to what's been going on in this shanty town on Pulse Chain. Boy, you think they would look at him in a favorable light? Someone who's been hiding for 3 years, who's the leader of the entire operation, And these people trying to tell you something about some decentralization. That this is so DeFi, strong DeFi, real DeFi, where? And keep saying this is real DeFi. Emphatically disingenuous, yeah. So I don't even like speaking about the coins itself because it just seems like this just has been the absolute joke in crypto, the worst joke, like worse than any meme that was launched on Solana. There's been an absolute joke. Miserable fail. And people will tell you, he got all this money. You know, well, why would this be a money grab? These people will make excuses for the devil smashing their own partner, their own spouse, right? Any type of illicit activity, illegal activity that'll be done. These people would just like justify it to the upteenth degree. You know what I mean? For sure. For sure. You watching someone piece of the chat, diversifying the building. What's going on, man? You know, it's like oftentimes, you know, sometimes people just have to seriously just try to be objective in a way where you take a step back. Take a step back and you look at what you're dealing with. Try to be as impartial as you can, even though it's hard, especially if you're involved, you're invested, you're in it to win it. So it's hard to be sort of like non-biased when, especially when it comes to your own investments. You know, and people think that when you practice some level of critical thinking, right? You're analyzing what's in front of you. They think you're funny. They think you're bad mouthing situations for the sake of creating fear, uncertainty, so people can be scared and question everything going on, as if in some cases that's a bad thing. But it's not about creating fear and intimidation. These are legitimate, legitimate issues that have occurred that cause us to be here where we are. But leave it to him, leave it to your founder. He's gonna say it's the community's fault. The founder will tell you the community keeps selling. Everything needs to improve. Everybody needs to work harder, needs to market, needs to promote, needs to onboard, needs to stop selling. You need to keep buying. bring new people, bring all this stuff. And he absolves himself of any and all responsibility, all accountability, right? But will take credit for things like, oh, but beat the SEC. And the crypto community in general didn't rally behind dude beating the SEC. Now, I'm not talking about Pulse Chat, I'm talking about crypto wide. Oh, he beat the SEC in the court and all this. And how is that reflected in price? Poorly. Poorly. Everything decentralized, but wants you to do this, wants you to do that, was saying what you would like to see and all these things, what you'd like to see, to avoid regulation and regulatory scrutiny, and you create these schemes, right? Twist ideology around. Instead of calling something an ICO, you call it sacrifice, right? Who owns the OA? You say it's not you. And then when they ask you, what's up with that trade you made, that Ethereum trade you did last year, injected what? Bought $600 million you spent on that trade? Who's moving that type of money? Who? The African priests? Who's staking coins 15 years, locking them up, decreasing the rate of interest that other stakers, older stakers, have been receiving the whole time? Who locks up coins 15 years out? The African priests did that. Who reduced the emission rate of the incentive token in the farms? Huh? But we often hear, oh, this is real DeFi going on over here. Real DeFi. What your man used to talk about? What, he updated his worldview? What he used to talk about? Oh, show me the no admin keys. Admin keys are bad unless he holds them, because that's all he's shown, that's all he's proven. And when he basically admitted to making that trade with Ethereum last year, the local top Ethereum, $3,800 Ethereum, and he basically admitted to doing that. There you go. What more do y'all need to know? When folks say, wake up, it's y'all think it's cliche, y'all think it's right, just people being funny and trying to insult. And no, it's real. Wake up. One person is in charge of everything. Because they hold most of the bags. Nobody can come out of nowhere on the outside and outdo him. And he did that by design, because he owns 90%, 90 plus. Had some kind of weird bull season, bull market season. Very, very strange, very different. Very different. This crypto bull market that passed is not like the previous bull market, bull cycles. No way. Not like before. Your PLS was launched in a bear market, passed through this miserable bull market, and now back to a bear. So it never even had its own run. And we're approaching 2026. And that's a win. Folks will tell you it's all about long term. Remain patient. Delay your gratification. When people see right through all that, see right through it. When folks are just now at the point where they're just tired, extremely fatigued, exhausted for the games of your man. Poor excuse of a leader. You're going to say, oh, they need to just, why don't they just sell? The haters, why don't you just sell? Well, not so fast. Sub will sell it, leave. Everybody has a right to do whatever they want to do. But when you've been practicing whatever you've been doing, you're like, wait a minute. This guy said some. You did what crypto is, what this ERC20 coin that now is all copied on his own Ethereum fork chain, supposed to lock the coin up and earn yield. And you watching what's taking place and unfold. No, you're not gonna just sell. You're gonna wait and see. You're gonna wait this out. You're gonna ride it out. Because ultimately he has to show and prove. All the rhetoric that he created is biting him in the cheeks. Truth engine. T-share truth engine. Yeah. He's not absolved of any truth. It applies to him too. Oh, truth engine for sure. People could laugh, can mock, can say, oh, 15 years. Why would you stake that 15 years? Oh, you such a loser. This and that, and this. Yeah, may very well be right. But this is bigger than someone's decision to stake a coin 15 years. Because this is something that was heralded, that was praised by someone and promoted by somebody who told the world they're here to save. They're here to save everyone. That they're the giving tree. Huh? So now you gotta live by those words forever. As long as the internet exists. And if you don't perform accordingly, because that's really what it's about. In performing and doing the work. That's really what it's about. If you don't, then that means you a loser. You lost. You lost the game. And imagine what that's gonna do to his reputation. It's already bad for your man. I mean, this is like sentiment is so low, it's not even funny. It's already terrible for him. My thing is, if he doesn't show improve, if he does not show improve, then everyone who had a legitimate gripe, a legitimate concern, who he wants to say, call him cry fagging and whining, we were right. We were right. And if he does show improve and pumps the market, we win anyway, those of us who remain. So the onus and the accountability lies with him, and it's on him. Period. Nothing more to talk about. Nothing more to talk about. Don't talk to me about the people have to market still. Don't tell me nothing about, oh yeah, you gotta keep promoting. People been doing that. 6 years. And since the chain launched 2.5 years ago, what do you think has been happening for the last 2.5 years? Come on, man. Deeper than some plastic tablets you want to send out in the world that he even identified being a fail. You got 1 million tablets on deck, 100,000 sent out, and that turned out to be an absolute fail. Tablets. You were pissed off at the community as a founder. You were pissed off when the people wrapped those racing cars, donated 500,000 to those efforts, wrapped those racing cars and lost, and he was pissed. Told the community that they need to spend their money elsewhere doing direct marketing instead of wasting it like they did wrapping a NASCAR. This was 4 years ago, pissed off. 3 years pissed off. Dude talking all kinds of displeasure and make it make sense. You're gonna express displeasure and pretend like you have nothing to do with any of the foolishness going on. You want to be a leader, you telling the world everything is about glory. But when things go south, you throw your hands up and say, oh, you shaggy. You shaggy. It wasn't you. It wasn't me. It's everybody else selling. Sell pressure. It's the community. Oh, man. You're hiding. You got international police agencies looking for you. And that's all supposed to be okay while you continue to hide, not address any of that, not address the weird allegations of beating a child. What's wrong with this guy? This is supposed to be a giving tree. This is supposed to be a good example, a great example of crypto success. And people gambling on this person, hoping that this person created something that's going to help change everyone's lives who's involved financially, like, and change their lives for the better, when it's done the exact opposite. Unfortunately, people have even allegedly taken their lives in their own hands behind the poor performance of the entire operation. Come on, man. And nothing's changed. Same tactics, just recycled. So what do you do when you rotate and you pivot? You go back to doing what gave you $1.6 billion 4 years ago. You launch a sacrifice and tell people something new, innovation from something that already exists. You're going to basically duplicate and copy what's already out there like you've done, right? and hope and pray that you get another win, or else you're cooked. Or else you're cooked. When they talk about this weird, the sound of his verbiage to product market fit sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Product market fit. Better. I'm better. Product market fit. Better. Mm, your product market fit, right? You singled yourself out with this CD on a blockchain, certificate on a blockchain. That was a product market fit. Oh, it served a need. There was a need, and this right, Ponzi-nomics served its purpose until right now. It can't right now. And what's the problem? Why can't you pump Pulse X? Why can't you pump Pulse Chain? Oh, it was just too much evaluation. It's better the deca millions. To get something deca million. Telling you already, too much money was given up front. How are you gonna pump $1.6 billion times 10,000 times 1,000,000%? How are you gonna do that successfully? Couldn't do it. Can't do it. But what you can do is start off with something else, because every time he tried to make a move on the blockchain, inject 20 million, it all gets dumped. Any little pump you see, 5%, a little 10%, by the next day without fail, people sell and dump. And it's back to red candles. It's back to tampons, Kotex, Maxi Pad, red. It's back to that. So what's he telling you? Start out low again, new sacrifice, build morale again, because sentiment is trash. People only sacrifice not because they feel like they need this coin. They just need another win. They need to win another gamble. They need a scratch off lottery ticket play. That's all it is. That's all it is. You launch a third sacrifice. Meanwhile, people are dead in the water with your first two. Like, share, subscribe.